Thank you for joining us for the AFLs review and training. As a reminder, the AFLs is an assessment tool that we use before our IEP meetings to help determine our goals for our students. So the AFLs is an assessment tool to help us determine what functional living skills that our learners have. You'll see there are 6 different skill books that you can pick from. They're listed below: the basic skills, home skills, community participation skills, independent living skills, school skills, and vocational skills. It's okay if you use a variety of these. You don't just have to pick one and use a specific one. You could pick a few and assess a few different areas. Or if you find that, maybe vocational skills is what your student needs, use that. You determine what is best. All right, so here's the guides that are broken down, just like I talked about, on the different skill areas and what's kind of listed underneath. Those bullet points are kind of what you are assessing, and you'll see that further as we go into our review. So where can you find the AFLs? Going forward, they're going to be kept in the C-Wing curriculum closet. They will be barcoded, and just as always, please, I ask that you sign these in and out as you use them. I will also be going over the grid charts that you'll be filling out when you use these guides. I'll be going over where you can access them as well. All right, so each part of the guide, so these books that were just on the previous page, when you open it up, it's going to look something like this. Some of our self-study today will be a few slides I'm going to skip over and have you just take a closer look at those slides. So I'll go over that in a few. But this is kind of what the guide looks like when you open it up. This is the grid sheets. This is what I was talking about. So you'll need your booklet, and then you'll need a grid sheet. Again, I'll show you later in the review where you can access the grid sheets at. On the left-hand side, looking at the screen, is one that is just blank. And then on the right-hand side is an example of possibly what it would look like when it's filled out. This is taking a look closer up. So you'll see at the top of your screen where it says task, that stands for self-management. So if you're looking down on the previous slide, the lower left-hand corner says self-management. This is taking a closer look up close, right? So the score, the student can either get a 0, a 1, or a 2. Specifically, we just use this as an example and pick this one, but this is talking about aggression towards others. And this is what you would be assessing. And then you'll see at the bottom, there's questions. There's a question there that kind of helps you assess the area, and then the criteria. So what gets them a 2, what gets them a 1, and what gets them a 0. Again, when you're looking at the grid then, it's going to look like this. So here's self-management, question number 1. And then here's the grid that would go with it. Again, we discussed he'd either get a 0, a 1, or a 2. Here we go again, just to review that. And this is what the grid would look like if you felt that the student received a 1. You would go in your grid and you would fill in here the first box. And so forth going forward. This is kind of more of what it would look like if you did several different questions and in the self-management area. So you see, the second question, they scored a 0, but obviously we want to make sure you assess that area. So that's why this smaller circle is colored in. You'll see number 6, we just didn't either get to yet or we skipped over that one, whatever the case may be, but number 6 was not done yet. Number 2 was done. That student just received a 0 in that area. So, like anything with our students, the best way to complete the assessment is with people who really knows the student. So there are some things that possibly that, somebody who really does work with the student often and knows them well can complete on their own. Or there definitely are areas that you will have to, have a task ready and have them, complete the test right in front of you and assess them right then and there. I'm going to ask the next few slides you're going to take a look at and review for yourself. So again, this is just talking about how to test and assess the student and the different areas. Remember, once you complete your grid, please make sure to save it in your student folder. So the next teacher that has that student can take a look at it, or year after year, if you have the same student, you can assess it and see, if they're making progress towards certain goals or achieving certain things, etc. We also want to make it known that, if you're using the AFLs, definitely feel free to use the comment below in the gray box to add to your, present levels of just talking about where you assess the student and what you saw. But please, definitely include something about using, the AFLs to assess your student. This is how you assess your blank grids. This is what I talked about at the beginning of the presentation. You're just going to go into Google Sheets, and then you go from a template gallery down to teachers, and then you'll see, depending on which guide you choose, here's what grid goes with the guide. So you have now completed the grid. So what are your next steps? So I'm going to get out of this presentation shortly to show you how this aligns with ACE and what the really nice part about ACE is. Again, the next few slides are going to be self-study as well. You all have this presentation shared with you, so please review this as many times as you need, go over as many times as you need. It's all yours for, till something changes or if we have to edit something. But what happens when you complete your AFLs assessment and you have that colorful grid in front of you? So I'm going to now go into ACE to show you real quick. If we're looking at basic communication, say, is where we want to start of an area of need. So you would go onto ACE, you're going to sign into your dashboard, and you would hit the curriculum button. I'm going to go to search. I'm just saying as an example, maybe I needed to find something, and I apologize. You're going to go to browse. You're going to come down here. You're going to go to the ACE scope. And I'm going to go to communication. Remember what I was saying, we were looking at basic communication. So I'm going to go to communication. And then depending on what I was thinking off of the grid on where, what I'm specifically looking for in a goal, I can go and I can select. So I'm just saying, expressive language, say, and I can take a look at different things that I think that the student might need to work on based on this. Based on this, you're going to look at your basic communication and you will see that I'm going to look at a specific area, maybe whatever I assessed up here, and begin and choose from my ACE curriculum a goal from there. And you would continue so forth. I might look at grooming. Grooming might not be of importance. I might look at health and safety and say that might be importance of, depending on, again, this is what's so important about your student and knowing what you are looking for them to achieve. So here again is just more referencing to the slides above, just about maybe a skill that I would choose. Again, determining the progress. This is the importance of saving those grids into your student folders. So year after year or assessment after assessment, we can take a look and see what progress is getting made, or if we need to go and reassess the skill or take a look at a skill to hopefully create another goal for the student. And that is the end of the informal review training of the AFLs. Please make sure to reach out to a teacher lead if you have any further questions, or your BCBA. They definitely were a huge help in this process of putting this presentation together. So please reach out to somebody if you need any assistance, have questions, concerns, anything like that. Again, to remember, you can find the booklets, the guides in the C-Wing curriculum closet. You'll be able to sign those out, and then your grids that you will be filling in are just under Google Sheets, under templates, and you can access them there. Thank you so much, and I hope this was helpful. Have a good one.